Hello, everybody, and welcome here to the Wine with Jimmy channel. This is all about the wonderful world of wine. These presentations are very much geared towards those of you studying the world of wine, so to help you with your wine examinations, your understanding of wine. But if you are interested in the world of wine as a general consumer, you will find many of these videos useful as well. Now, this video I'm looking at is actually all about wine examination practice. And I'm looking here at the Rhône Valley in France for the WSET. That's the Wine and Spirit Education Trust Level 3. Now, this is what I call a taster version. There's a much greater extended version, the full version, available at Wine with Jimmy, the e-learning portal. You'll see the address for that there, e-learningwine.winewithjimmy.com. You'll also find the information for this in the description. There is a huge wealth of extra resources, exclusive video content, written questions, multiple choice, flashcards that I have been designing for many years to help people really understand the topic through WSET, to help you with your studies and of course your examination. If you have any comments or questions, if you have anything to ask around the questions, maybe around the Wine with Jimmy e-learning platform, please do not hesitate to pop your question or comment in the description box below this video. So let's have a look at our first question. Now, typical very much for WSET to lead with label questions, because the label can tell so much information. A glimpse of a label can often be many years of experience in the wine trade. So there's a lot to be asked from a label. And you'll see here, you've got a Domaine Georges Vernet Condrieu on the left-hand side. They're going to lead this question by talking about what this wine style is like. This wine is full-bodied, high alcohol, low in acidity, with stone fruits and perfumed aromas. State the grape variety and the grape growing conditions that lead to this style. And your indication of how much to write is in brackets there, how many marks are available. So the variety is just 1 mark, so this will require a 1-word answer. And in this case, for Condrieu, it must exclusively be made from the grape variety Viognier. Viognier. So you'll see it spelt there, V-I-O-G-N-E-I-E-R. Okay, Viognier. The grape growing conditions is a much larger answer here because it's for 3 marks. So you must be including 3 salient points within your answer. And it's asking for grape growing conditions. So this is anything to do with the vineyard. So we're going to be talking probably, maybe, I don't know, about climate, weather, geology, aspect, topography, all things that really are around the vineyard. And this is, of course, applicable to the syllabus of the level 3. So what is mentioned in the textbook here is that it's made from low yielding vines. And that's going to get you a mark, growing on steep, well exposed terraced vineyards. I think the steep, well exposed is a mark, and then certainly terraced, which is a key feature of the Northern Rhône. There are many terraces there which date back to Roman times. So you'll see there's enough for 3 marks. So you must be writing a sentence here that is really discussing key points there for 3 marks. Up to 20% of this variety can be blended into another appellation. So we're not talking about Condrieu wines being blended, but the variety. So elsewhere, the variety can be blended into another appellation. What is it? So we know that Condrieu is 100% Viognier, but up to 20% can be used elsewhere. And there is actually only one you can have. It's a red wine, which is a majority Syrah, with up to 20% Viognier. And they're actually got 2 marks there. And that is because Côte-Rôtie it's 2 words, but it's a little bit more to remember, because it's actually called the roasted slope. That's what Côte-Rôtie means. So you're getting a mark really for each of these components, saying Côtes and Rôtie. Now also, WSET are quite fond on tabulated questions. As you see here, state and describe, and that's through key fact and typical style, the two generic appellations of the Southern Rhône. So we are now flipping from the north down to the Southern Rhône, which is, of course, fairly different in its wine production norm. And you'll see here that we need to completely fill out this table. So you'll see the left-hand column is the generic appellations. So this is basically not the crus or villages, but the large appellations of the Southern Rhône. Any key facts that you will have learnt in your syllabus about these generic appellations, and then the typical style. And there's 10 marks here, so it's going to be 1 mark for each of the generic appellations and 2 marks for stating key facts and typical style, and that will total up to 10. First of all, the large generic appellation here for the Southern Rhône is the AOC Côte du Rhône. Now, if you do not remember the circumflexes on the O's, then do not worry. As long as you are writing Côte du Rhône, you also don't need to write AOC here. Côte du Rhône would be just fine. A key fact about this large generic appellation is just that. More than 50% of the total production, and it's led by red. There are 2 marks available for that. The typical style here is that it's medium-bodied, fruity, and simple. And that will be enough to get you 2 marks. Medium-bodied and fruity and simple are the 2 marked areas. Okay, so that is your first row. Now, the other generic appellation here is what we call the Côte du Rhône village. Okay, so spelling again of Côte du Rhône and then a dash village, which is a sub-district of a little more higher quality, but still it's a generic appellation. So a greater percentage of the blend will come from GSM. Now, I didn't have enough space here in my table for this presentation, but please do write a greater percentage of Grenache, Syrah and Mourvèdre in the blend. And it also has stricter minimum alcohol levels and lower maximum yields. Now, I would say there are 3 things I've mentioned there. You need to say 2 of those. So the percentage of GSM and maybe minimum alcohols, which are stricter, or lower maximum yields. And that will be enough to get you those 2 marks. If you wish to understand the answer for the typical style here, you'll need to go across to my full version, which is available at the Wine with Jimmy e-learning portal. And once again, there is the address for it in the description box of this video, but also at the bottom of the slide. So e-learningwine.winewithjimmy.com. Go across to there, access much more. We've got another 13 slides to go of exclusive video content. But of course, there's many, many more videos that I have filmed to help you with your studies.